Were your light switches installed in the wrong location of your home? Are you still struggling to find where the light switch is for your lights? Do you have to run around the kitchen to turn on multiple light switches to turn on all the lights in one room? Do you wish you had a light switch across the room but don't want to pay an electrician to add an entire new light switch? Now, if you've ever had any of these problems in your home, do I have the solution for you today. This is the Caseta by Lutron Smart Dimmer and Remote. Now today, Lutron announced the Pico Paddle Remote, which is an updated model of the Pico Smart Remote. It looks more like the Diva Smart Dimmer as well as the Claro Smart Switch. You can also find the paddle remote in the Smart Switch and Remote kit, or you can get the remote and wall mounting kit, or you can just buy the Pico Paddle Remote on its own. Now today we're going to get this set up and I'm going to show you some things I've actually never shown you before and how you can use these without using a hub or anything like that and control multiple devices with one remote. So first off, this can be installed in 15 minutes, pretty easy install. Now out of the box, you do not need to purchase a hub. These can connect directly together with their RF system and you can control the light switch with the remote. You can actually control 10 different smart dimmers or Claro smart switches with one Pico Paddle Remote, which is really awesome. And then you can also add other Pico Paddle Remotes around your home. Now inside the kit, you do have the in-wall dimmer as well as wall plate. You have the paddle remote, no wires required, and the battery does last up to 10 years, which is really awesome. And then here we have a wall plate bracket, so you can add the paddle remote anywhere on your wall where you don't have any existing wiring. Now this can be installed in many different ways. So you would install the Diva dimmer to an existing light switch, and then you can place the paddle remote anywhere you want so that you don't have to add any electrical wiring. Now the Diva dimmer does have LED plus technology, so it's able to dim dimmable bulbs, so LED with 150 watts or incandescent or halogen up to 600 watts. Now you can install this in many different locations in your home. So the first is a single pole, meaning you have one light switch and one light. So you could put the Diva dimmer there. Then if you have two light switches with one light, you can install the Diva dimmer on one end, and there's a way where you can wire it so that it can control both ends with just that one Diva dimmer. And then here you have wireless three-way or multi-location. So if you only have one light switch, but you want to add other locations, you would install the Diva dimmer at that light switch, and then you can add multiple Pico Paddle remotes around the room so that you can control it from multiple locations. And then you have wired multi-location capable, so you can install the Diva dimmer at one of the light switches. On the other light switch, you can wire it so it works, or you can get the Claro accessory switch to make them match, and then you can add a Pico Paddle remote to have a third location across the room. Let's unbox this. And here is our Diva Smart Dimmer. So on the side there, we can easily adjust the brightness, and it has a simple on and off with a few other cool tricks. And on the back, you have the 4 wires here, but the great thing about this light switch is it does not require a neutral wire. So you can install this if you just have 2 wires going to your light. One is going to be the power and one is going to the light switch, and you'll be able to get this installed. So that's super easy to do. I'll show you how to do that. And then here we have the Pico Paddle Remote with the wall plate bracket. So there it can slide right off the wall plate. And here you can see it just has a simple on and off. Now the first question you're gonna have is, does it have dimming capabilities? It does not right on the Pico Paddle Remote. But if the other end is set at a dim level, when you press it on, it will go to that dim level. And then if you want it to go full brightness, you just push on for a second time and it will go to the full brightness, which is really cool. So here you can see the difference between the existing Pico Smart Remote. Now these will still operate fully functional. You'll still be able to get these. They will have these 2 styles available. Now this does have some benefits of being able to control the brightness from this end as well as setting favorites. But I think it's nice that we have this new style that will match your Diva and Claro smart switches. And here inside the box, we do have instructions as well as some wire nuts and some screws to get it installed. And then we have some other wire nuts and screws to install or cap off the other end if you need to, as well as a jumper wire. Now I have a full video about how to get this style installed, so I'll leave that at the end where you can check that out. Now in the packaging, you also receive this little backplate for the Pico Remote with a little sticky pad. So if you wanted to install this on glass or tile, you would be able to do that without screwing anything into the wall. Now, if you are using the wall plate bracket in an empty gang box, you do not need to remove this extra little plate. It will just fit right in and you can screw it in because there's nothing behind it. But if you're putting this on a wall, you will need to remove this extra little backing plate so that it doesn't stick out too far. And you can just simply push these up and it will then pop right out. just like so. And then we can put our Pico Paddle Remote right on here, making sure it attaches to both sides. And now it is ready to be installed on the wall. And then because it didn't come with 2 wall plates, I will be using this wall plate with the Pico, and then I'll be using another Decora style for this series of lights that I'm going to install at the light switch. Let's head up to the bedroom. First thing I need to do is turn off the power and then remove the existing light switch. Why? Why is it that long? Why? And now we're gonna check to make sure the power is off, and it is off. All right, now we're going to remove the wall plate there. And now all we're going to do is attach one of the red to the black and one of the black to the black and the green ground to the ground. And so here I'm gonna straighten them out. Then I'm going to use the included wire nuts to wire nut them off. So here we have the ground, here we have a load, and then here we have the line. And the black and red wires are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which one you put them on, just make sure they are fully connected and these do not come off. And then I'm gonna use the blue wire nut for the blue wire, which you would use in a 3-way light switch, but we're not using that today. Okay, now I can just simply place all these wires back in and then screw it in place. And then down here you do have the option to pull this out, and that kills the power to the switch if you need to reset it or kill the power. And you can press it back in, so both of these have those. All right, now we're ready to put the wire plate back on, and let's go and install the Pico Paddle Remote. Now that we have the Diva Smart Dimmer installed, that was the hardest part. We have full controls over here. We can simply adjust the brightness just by using the little dial on the side. And then if we want to turn it on and off, we can do that. And when you turn it on, it goes back to where you have the brightness level set. If you push it again, it will go to full brightness. Now we can go ahead and pair and set up the Pico Paddle Remote. Now this is not using any Wi-Fi to do this. We're not needing a hub. It is just working RF signal between the 2 devices. So here we're going to put the Diva Smart Dimmer in pairing mode, and you do that by holding down the off button for 6 seconds. You'll see the lights over here begin to flash. Okay, it is now flashing. Then we're going to take the Pico Paddle Remote and we're gonna hold off for 6 seconds. And then you'll see the light over here flash 3 times. Okay, it has now flashed and the lights blinked, indicating that we are in pairing mode. So now I can just push off on the Pico Paddle Remote and the lights have turned off. If I push on, it will then turn on the lights. Now, if I set the dimming level over here to a certain brightness, when I push off on the Pico Paddle Remote, when I push on one time, it's gonna go to that brightness level. If I push on again, it's gonna jump to the full brightness. And that's so nice that even though it doesn't have dimming, you can still use that dimming function that is based on the main Diva Smart Switch. So now with this, I could actually pair this to 10 different Diva Smart Dimmers in my home, or Claro switches, or previous Caseta Smart switches, or my shades, or whatever. There's so many things that you can pair a Pico remote to. So all the existing Caseta products it can be paired with. And then you can also pair this to the Lutron hub to be able to have access to control what devices this is controlling right within the app, but we'll save that all for the end. Now that we have it paired, let's go ahead and add this across the room so we can use it as a dedicated light switch that's always available without having to do any extra wiring in our home. All right, the height over there was about 48 inches. Let's go in 4 inches. Now, it does come with anchors, but we're just gonna drill this right through the sheetrock. Once you have the wall plate bracket in, you can then attach the faceplate. I just attached it first, and now we just need to snap on the wall plate. And that's perfect. And just like that, we now have a 3-way switch. So if we want to add more Pico Paddle Remotes to other parts of the room, or maybe in a nightstand, we are able to do that. And then if you have a room with multiple lights, you would install the Diva Smart Dimmer on all of the different lights, and you can put one location with the Pico Paddle Remote, and that on or off will simply turn on all of those once you have them all paired together using the same process here. Next, we can expand the amount of devices that the Pico Paddle Remote can control up to 10 different devices. But because I want this integrated into my smart home, I'm now going to connect it to my Lutron Smart Hub. To do that, I'm going to head into the Lutron app, go into the settings here, and tap Add Device. And then first I'm going to be adding the Diva Smart Dimmer. So here I'm gonna go to In-Wall Dimmer, and then I'm gonna hold down on Off for 10 seconds. And once it starts flashing, it will then appear here in the app, and we can add it right into the bedroom. And these are the ceiling lights. And I added some other Claro switches that I'm gonna add as well. And now let's tap Add Another and go to the Pico Paddle Remote. So here I'm going to choose Pico Remote, and I'm gonna hold down on the off button for 10 seconds. And because I had already paired this to the other Diva dimmer, it was already added as well. Now it looks like under the master bedroom, it didn't add the Pico into here, but if I scroll down, it's all the way at the bottom on Main Lights Remote. So I'm gonna tap on there. So here we're going to change the room and add it into the master bedroom. All right, so there it is in the room, and we can simply turn on and off the lights from here. Now, if I go into there, I can go to Edit Device, and I can adjust what device this is going to control. So let's go ahead and have it see if it can control the shades. And here I'm going to set it to control the shades. All right, that has now changed. If I push off, that is now going to close the shades. If I push the button, it's going to stop. And if I push up, it's then going to open the shades. Pretty simple. I can then also adjust it to control the fan in the room. So here we have ceiling fan, save. And turning it on, it then turns on the fan. Turning it off, it turns on the fan, and that's with the Claro smart switch. And then let's go ahead and adjust it to control just all the lights in the room. So here I have the main lights and the ceiling fan light. If we tap save, now it's going to control both of the lights in the room just from this one remote. So lights off, and then lights on. Now the lights that are dimmable are dimmed to the dim level. If I push up again, those go to full brightness, but all the lights are on now in the room. So it's very versatile that we have this one Pico Paddle Remote. We can do so much with this. Now one more test I want to do is showing you the difference between a normal Claro smart switch and the Pico Paddle Remote. So here I have one of each of those. From this video, can you tell which one is which? All right, let's try another test. Here I'm going to press them and see if you can tell the difference. So which one is this? And which one is this? So there you may have noticed a few things. This one is a little more clicky. And then this one also has a constant light where this light flickers a little bit. Are you ready for the reveal? Can you tell yet? How about if I do this? There you go. This is the Pico Paddle Remote. It sits really flush up against the wall with that wall plate bracket. And there's really not much difference other than this has the constant light and is a little more clicky. And that is the new Pico Paddle Remote. I love how easy this is to add a three-way light into your home, as well as being able to control all the lights in one room. Now, this not only works with all Caseta products, but it will also work with Radio Raw 3 and Homeworks lighting systems, so you can integrate this into your home. Now, if you have any further questions, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you would like to learn more about wiring your Diva or Claro smart switch, you can check out the video right here on the side. And if you want to integrate this into your smart home with Google Assistant, Alexa, or HomeKit, you can check out the video down here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.